Solid victory for the Edmonton Oilers to close out this homestand in Edmonton as the team gets set for an Eastern Conference road trip, sending people home a little bit warmer on a cold, cold December night in the Big E. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola with you alongside Benny Thomson, and Matt Kassian is our game analyst tonight. A quick little programming note. You'll see Benny. He's not at the EST Global HQ. He's producing this show from his satellite studios as we have a scheduled power outage at EST Global HQ. So the post-game show is always brought to you by GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Join the conversation. Text us 780-218-9999. I see a lot of texts coming in. Keep them coming in. We want to know what you thought of tonight's game. And of course, get into the nasty chat. Lots of chatter over there. Great to see. Hit that thumbs up button as more and more of you join the show. Benny, just programming wise, I mentioned that we had to step out of our HQ. Yeah. There's a power thing happening there. In terms of like the impact and what people might see or hear differently, shouldn't be too much, right?
It shouldn't be any different at all, honestly. If you do notice anything, let me know in the nasty chat. I'll see if I can figure it out. But I'm pretty sure that everything is good. Everything's running smoothly. Yes. I have it currently set up in my kitchen, basically, at home right now. So this is definitely a different satellite studios than usual, but it'll work for tonight.
It's amazing what radio has become. Even when we were finishing up at 1260, in the last few years after the COVID, or during COVID, I should say, like everybody was given a road kit, and you would do your show from home. So it really and you see it all the time, whether it's local programming, national programming.
I see the guys on Overdrive do it. Like O-Dog and Noodles are from at home too. Like same type of setup too. So exactly. It's pretty cool.
And don't worry, we've got the Godfather, Matty Owanek, overseeing things remotely as well. He's always got a keen eye on it, and we should be just fine. We're off and running here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. 4-1 victory for the Edmonton Oilers. Really solid night for the Orange and Blue. I mean, we were curious. We were wondering how they would bounce back after what was a disappointing 1 point on Tuesday against the Buffalo Sabres. And I think from the outset, Ben, they were pretty damn good all night long, especially in the third period after they had accumulated the multi-goal lead. They're up 3-1. I didn't think Detroit really had many looks in the third period. Edmonton made a good point of making sure Detroit had to go 200 feet almost every time. Every time Edmonton had a possession, they got to center. They either dumped it or chipped it in and chased it. And then when Detroit did get into the offensive zone, they had some looks, obviously, because they were trying to pour it on and keep the winning streak alive. And they have been playing great hockey. I know they were playing their third game in 4 nights. But really, the Oilers did a really respectable job of limiting the Red Wings. So I would say that's a very solid way to wrap up that homestand. They go 3-1-1. They get a bunch of points, 7 points out of a possible 10. That's good. It could have been more, could have been less, but that's good. That's a good homestand. And now they'll see if they can put together a winning streak finally this season, because they've just had back-to-back wins 4 times. Had a great opportunity, blew it on Tuesday, but you get up, dust yourself off, and reload. Benny, what'd you think of tonight?
Yeah, it was a lot of the same things you said. This one felt like it felt like they scratched or they forgot the Buffalo game happened. You know what I mean? They wiped it away. And I know I brought it up in pregame where I was bringing up, if the Oilers win tonight like they did, is the Buffalo game a one-off? And Cass and yourself had some good banter about it, but I think just what you could tell tonight, like it seemed like they got back into what this game was. It seemed like they got back into what the system is, everything. It feels like they had their game back to where it was, where they're beating teams like Seattle and Winnipeg by a drastic score. You win by 3 tonight with an empty netter, great. Good for Zach Hyman, man. Good for him. Yep. He's 2 goals in 11 games heading into tonight, and he came in and played Probably his best game of the year so far. I mean, obviously he got some good sweet feeds by number 97, which I'm sure we'll bring up in a bit. But just overall, I mean, you got to take that. You got to be happy. Stuart Skinner made some big saves when the Oilers needed them, and it's another solid win. I understand Red Wings were a little bit vulnerable tonight with just kind of how the road trip went, but overall, I mean, you take the 2 points. You love to see it. Now you go into Toronto and then Montreal on Sunday. Let's see if they can come out with 4 points over the weekend.
Yeah, the Oilers began a 3 games in 4 night stretch as Detroit concluded one in this game. So 4-1 is the final in favor of the Oilers. They improved to 14-11-6. That's good for 34 points as of right now. That has them in the first wild card spot. Detroit was first in the Atlantic coming into this game at 37 points. The regulation loss drops them back to third because Tampa and Boston both won tonight. They're 1 point up on the Red Wings. Tampa and Boston also unveiling their Stadium Series uniforms tonight.
Yep.
I've had a bunch of buddies text me and be like, these are hot garbage. I like the Tampa one more than the Boston one. Anyway, so that's the situation in the Atlantic Division. Very tight. Both conferences very tight this year. All right. Text us 780-218-9999. I'm going to go to a bunch of texts right away here. I want to get to some stats from our good friend Brian Swain. Swainer says, big night for the Graybeards. Zach Hyman, 33 years old and 186 days, is the second oldest player with a hat trick in franchise history, behind only Derek Ryan. Derek Ryan did it at 35 years of age and 59 days. Matthias Ekholm, 35 years and 201 days old, is third oldest defenseman with a game-winning goal in franchise history, behind only Andy Sutton, who did it at 36 years, 232 days. And then Duncan Keith had one at 38 years old and 108 days. Thank you, Brian Swain, for sending those in. We always appreciate it very, very much. So the Graybeards, as Swainer put it, getting the job done for the Orange and Blue. Of course, Connor McDavid, like Benny was talking about, making some tremendous plays. That tic-tac-toe play, there's Draisaitl to McDavid to Hyman. Sick. The 2 goals that Hyman scored on Cam Talbot on an actual goalie, not into the empty net.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It was just really well done. Really, really well done. So the second one, the back, behind the legs, behind the back pass into the slot. Unbelievable. Either cojones or this vision. And I'm going to lean towards vision because it's Connor McDavid, the most cerebral offensive player in the world. Yes, Nathan McKinnon is having a tremendous season, but I don't take anything away ever from Connor McDavid. All right, a couple of texts as we welcome in Matt Kassian, our game analyst. Uncle Jesse says, hey, first Oilers bench smile I've seen all year. That was nice to see when they're cleaning up all the hats after the Hyman hat trick. They had Hyman, McDavid, and Draisaitl up there, and you even saw Draisaitl smile. That's wonderful. Good. He can do that. Nice. Troll says, I totally don't remember Derek Ryan getting a hat trick. It happened. I vaguely remember. What else do we have here? Let's go to Scoobs. Scoobs texts in and says, boys, good game, but that Frederick Henrique Janmark line is awful. They were functional tonight. I'll just give them that. I'm being positive. They're functional. Twitter Mary texting in. Hi, Twitter Mary says, the curse of the empty net almost struck again. Yeah. Yay, Hyman, looking like his old self, but it really must suck to be losing by 3 and have to sit on the bench while hats are collected, and you're just waiting for the last minute to tick by so you can lose and go home already. That's from Twitter Mary. Cass, did you ever have to go through that where someone scored a hattie and you're sitting on the bench waiting for them to be mopped up, and so you guys can get out of Dodge and on to the next city or go home? I know the Wings have to go to Chicago en route to going home before.
Yeah, undoubtedly, yes. I can't think of a specific one, probably because you want to wipe them from your brain. You don't.
They're not as memorable when you're the opposing team.
No, they're not as fun. So you're just kind of like, just get me out of here. You certainly have games like that. And there's, whether it's hat tricks or in junior, like those teddy bear toss games, those sorts of things where we're just like, all right, like enough hats. And then it's like the straggler hats get out there. Like everyone's like they're just about off, and then it's like the 3 or 4 people then throw their hats, and then the crew has to get.
They do it on purpose.
They want
purpose, like just to be like, oh look, like all my buddies are gonna see me throw the hat, and oh man, that's that sort of stuff is the worst because you just want to go home, and you're not even going home. You're still going to Chicago, but you're just like, man, just get me out of town. This sucks. This sucks. So but hey, I'll take it to see some of that positive emotion from the Edmonton Oilers. That really is, you guys already said it, that's the first time. And you know what, guys, it wasn't just late in the game. Like, I know we see the smiles on the bench with Zach Hyman, but we saw them, I think a little more emotion throughout the game when they scored. Like, even going back to the first goal with Zach Hyman, where it just seemed like there was a little more enthusiasm and energy when this team did something positive.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out like where that came from. I don't know, but I liked it. It was a good thing.
Very positive.
Yeah.
Very positive. I can appreciate it too. All right, text us 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Edmonton a 4-1 victory over a really good Detroit team. You got Gazzola, Kassian, and Thomson with you here. Corey B says the Skinner haters are very quiet tonight. Praise for Peter Aubry as well. Peter Aubry being the new goalie coach. I thought Skinner was rock solid, but more importantly, Cass, what'd you make of the team in front of Stu Skinner?
Yeah, and that's the bigger thing, because I don't think Stu Skinner was the problem at the start of the season, just like I don't think Calvin Pickard was the problem at the start of the season and in the middle of the season for both of them. It's the bigger thing has been the team in front. Like, and the team in front was good today. There wasn't there was no grade A. I'm trying to think if there were. I didn't write any down. Like, I don't think there were any like grade A blunders in front of them. No. Yes, there's going to be small breakdowns. There always are breakdowns, and he made some good saves. Didn't really have to in the third, but that's kind of it, right? Like, they had the lead. They carried the lead into the third, and then Skinner didn't have to be great in the third because the team locked it down and made it very difficult for the Detroit Red Wings to generate any kind of momentum. So it was a very good team game today. And I think, once we see when they come out with the ultimate like high danger chances for and against, you'll see Edmonton control the lion's share of that. And for when Detroit did, Stuart Skinner makes a couple of big saves. So it was a solid night from him, but even more of a solid night by the team playing in front of him.
I only had in the first period, DeBrincat goes high and wide with a great look in the slot. So, a sniper that just missed his spot there. But outside of that was like he got a nice feed in and he was able to walk in and wrist one, and he went high glove and missed it completely. And then I had 2 instances in the second period where I thought Skinner was solid. Big save on Lucas Raymond. I think that was a 2-on-1 one-timer. And then a nice save on Larkin on an Oilers penalty kill. But you're right, Cass. Very good job by the Oilers as a 5-man unit and defensively with the Blue Liners keeping a pretty dangerous Detroit Red Wings team at bay. Detroit was like 4th or tied for 4th in most goals scored, just sheer goals. I'm not going goals per game. I was looking at the goal total heading into tonight. So overall, pretty darn good. Okay, you kind of chuckled when I read that text about the Frederick, Henrique, and Janmark line, but I described them as functional. How were the bottom 2 lines?
The Lazar line was fine. They were good. I thought the Lazar line was good. I thought the Lazar line was good. Seemed pretty steady. Functional. I'm trying to think of words to describe.
You can interpret that in many different ways.
You can interpret that in many different ways. I don't know if I'd use the word functional.
Okay, be more descriptive then.
They existed. They played in the game.
That's shade, brah.
It is a little bit of shade, but did they do anything?
Well,
Janmark got ice time.
Kind of almost stopped in front of the net once.
I didn't notice Mangiapane tonight.
He almost stopped in front of the net once.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was, well, the reason I point out that is there was I think it was a second period. It was a second period. There was a play and it was a shot. I can't remember if the puck was frozen or it went out of play. But he did a flyby in front of the net. Now, normally I'd look at that and I'd go, whatever. However, when you're a player that's not really scoring a lot, you're not really doing much from a physical standpoint, you're not really finding ways to impact the game. I'm like, why wouldn't you just, and with where he was, I'm like, why wouldn't you just stop right in front of the goalie? Just be a little bit of a rat. I'm like, there's a perfect situation to not take a penalty, but to be a little bit of an annoying rat. Like just doing something to annoy somebody. Like just something where it's just like, come on, man, like you're really going to do this? Now I'm going to have to come over here as a defenseman and like push you out of the way. Like just get out of here. Just beat it. Like that's, you wanted someone to just get annoyed by him in that moment. And I was like, and he just kind of just breezed on by and didn't do anything. But that's kind of that line tonight. Just kind of breezed through the game. Now it wasn't like they got lit up horribly. Wasn't like they were atrocious. They just kind of, they were there.
They existed.
Yeah.
Functional. All right. I'm going to read a couple of texts, and I need to get to something that you brought up on the pregame show. T-Rev says, hey, gents, I'm happy with the win tonight. 2 more in a row, and then I feel that we can say they are fully back on track. That's from T-Rev. Coach Mike says, would you call that a professional win tonight? Oilers need to replicate this kind of game/effort during the road trip. And then he says those 3 players that were mentioned, Henrique, Janmark, and Frederick, got participation ribbons, according to Coach Mike. Yes, that's a nice way to put it as well. A little bit of a backhanded compliment. Okay, the professional win. I like that descriptor by Coach Mike. How would you respond to Coach Mike calling it or asking if it's a professional win?
Yeah, I think that's an apt description. It wasn't a flashy win. It wasn't like it was completely, totally dominant, but it was a solid win. You did exactly what you needed to do against a tired team coming in here, playing their third game in 4 nights. It's just like you took care of business. You took care of business. Your best players were your best players.
Yep.
Your top guys were your top guys. And they went out there and they were just like, yeah, we're going to win. And that's why I loved kind of that excitement that they showed early. And maybe that's a little bit of Hyman just continuing to drag that out of them a little bit, where like, because he's one of the few of the top guys. It's like he shows emotion when he scores. Yes. And he got 3 tonight, and it was the most emotion we've seen in a long time when this team scores goals in games that they're controlling. And maybe that's just a little bit of a Hyman effect in that, where he's comfortable in scoring and getting back into it and putting the puck away, and people are feeding off of that a little bit from an emotional standpoint. But yeah, your big boys were your big boys at the end of the day. That's what this game was the big boys showed up to play. McDavid did some crazy things, and you won a hockey game. A team that was tired, that you should beat, they beat. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. 100%. This was a professional win.
Benny, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, to me, like I've been saying since the start of the year, you're led by your leaders, right? And those big guys, Connor, Leon, Bush, whoever you want to name as those top guys. And I mean, they were missing Hyman too, right? And he obviously scores the hat trick tonight. If you watch those first 15 games of the year and you look at Connor, and he wasn't making the same plays like he usually does, right? Like he usually, at least once a game, you're going, whoa, that is only he could do that, right? And I'm not going to sit here and act like the 2 assists he made tonight to Hyman score on goals, our goalie, were the best of best passes you've ever seen. But they were slick. They were nice plays, fantastic passes to Hyman where he doesn't have to. I mean, the second one he scored tonight was he had to put it past Talbot, but the other one, Talbot, was completely gone. And I think if Hyman doesn't score that first goal, I think everyone's screaming at McDavid to shoot the puck, and the Oilers lose, we're talking about why isn't he shooting the puck there? But this is why you don't doubt the best of the best, right? They know what they're going to do what they think is best on that specific play, and that one he waited it out perfectly, hit Hyman. So to me, it's when you see Connor making plays like that, that's just like it's a different team when Connor's playing that way, because it feels like everyone galvanizes around the play of your captain like that. So to me, I think if this continues, man, I see more wins in the future for the Oilers, and like tonight, they took care of business. We'll see if they do it over the weekend.
Connor was shooting too, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like let's not.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was shooting too. It
100%.
wasn't just a pass only, not put the puck in the net. It was a dual threat.
Yep.
Not that that between the legs pass. Not that he was a dual threat at that point. That was just ridiculous.
That was just sick.
That was just sick. That was nasty.
Fire.
That was sick.
Nasty.
Yeah, that was fire. That was fire. Straight fire.
Aura. Yeah. McDavid 4 assists +3 tonight. He did have 4 shots on net, so good point, Cass. And then making some great plays as well. Draisaitl will pick up a pair of assists. Hyman with the 3 goals. And then see if we have any multi-point games on the back end. No. Ekholm with the goal. Nurse with the assist. A lot of pluses tonight, which is good to see. Henrique was a dash. Janmark was a dash. Frederick was a dash. So I feel like a part of that text earlier is in regard to that. Oilers outshoot the Red Wings 29-28, by the way. Power play goes 1 for 2. PK goes 2 for 2. That's a thumbs up in the special teams department. Hits 25-9 Edmonton. Block shots 20-11 in favor of Edmonton. Giveaways dead even 14-14. Takeaways same thing 5-5. And boys, I said this on one of the recent pre or post game shows. They have AI handling most of these stats now, so it isn't the eye in the sky from a team of off-ice officials. They have been replacing. They have replaced off-ice officials in 6 NHL cities. Edmonton is one of them this year. They're testing out the AI to see how good it is, and then it'll likely happen throughout the rest of the league in the next year or two, where they go to AI on these stats. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, it's that good that they can trust it to the point of laying off a lot of long-time off-ice officials. So very interesting there. All right. Text us 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat as well. Troll says, Janmark saved the goal tonight, so at least he did something. That's right. Thank you, Troll. Appreciate that. This is what I wanted to ask you, Cass, because you pointed it out on Game Changers. You wanted Speedy D, right? You were talking about the Red Wings and the efficiency, how good and young they are. And we saw that Evason did end up playing. He took warm up. He was good enough to play, scored a goal, the only goal, jumping up into the rush, which was a great play by him. Beating Trent Frederick on that goal, by the way. But from an Oilers standpoint, because I'm thinking about, we're joking about the D-to-D regroups, taking it all the way back. They actually, I thought, were a little quicker than usual and didn't suck it all the way back to behind the goal line. I think they made a couple of regroups at the top of the circles, even in the neutral zone, and got things going back the other way. How did you see the Oilers' defense and the speed that they handled things? Yeah, well, their speed was better, but I think it was because, and when the Oilers struggle, this is what happens, is they transition the puck well to the forwards. Like, there are going to be times you have to back up and you have to regroup. Like, people are changing, people are out of position, people are still in the offensive zone coming back out, so you can't move it out. Like, there's going to be situations that happens. But when they struggle, it's when it is D to D to D to D, and they're backing up, and now all of a sudden there's no time and space, and your forwards are still at the far blue line, and you're trying to pass over 2 lines with 5 people in between you. Like, that's when they struggle. I thought today they were, from a timing standpoint, their timing to transition the puck to the forwards was better. Nice. So the receiving the puck in motion, whether the wingers or the forwards, like they received the puck in motion, which meant they got zone entry, which ultimately means you're spending more time in the offensive zone. On the flip side to it, I thought Detroit too often, and this is a credit to Edmonton and the forechecking, both the forwards doing it and the defensemen as well. They play a part in that too. Mm-hmm. I thought they did a really good job of clogging up the neutral zone and either forcing Detroit to go D to D to
play around and pass it around everybody, or just clogging things up where the only thing that Detroit had was either, a little chip and chase.
Right.
Like they didn't have much of a carry the puck with intentionality into Edmonton's zone. And that slows them down, right? That's slowed Detroit down, I thought, significantly. Now there's the energy factor in it too, that I think impacts Detroit, but hey, you have to still execute if a team is tired, and Edmonton was able to do that tonight.
Let's go back into the inbox. Tube Socks, what up, Tube Socks? Says it wasn't pretty, but it was efficient, like a veteran boxer leaning on the ropes, checking his watch and winning on points while the other guy shadow boxes his own optimism. A professional win, the kind you barely remember tomorrow, which is exactly how you know that it worked. Thank you, Tube Socks. Very nice text. Turner says, when Wallman comes back, who do you keep playing, Regula or Emerson? Turner with that text. That's a good question.
Yeah. That is a good one.
What would you guys say? You want to go to Benny first, and then we'll go to Cass?
You guys know, like I was happy to see Regula come in and step in and looked like he was going to win the job over Emerson, at least at the start of the year. Now, I feel like his puck-moving side of him has gone down a little bit. I think he needs a little bit better of an execution with that side of his game. He's a big body that doesn't play too physical, which rubs some people the wrong way at times. But I think Emerson's game has come around a lot over the past couple of weeks. Like with the Oilers' game itself, he's been, in my opinion, a factor of that on that third pair. I believe he was pretty high in his plus minus, which obviously is you take that with a grain of salt. But I think Emerson is evolving a little bit more in front of our eyes, and where I think Regula has maybe not regressed, but has fallen back from the lead. I think with some of the injuries he's gotten. I think I play Emerson right now. Now come day one of playoffs, who knows? Like that's a long time away from now, but. I think if you're playing against Toronto Saturday night and Jake Wallman's there, I know you won't be, but let's say he is. I think Emerson gets the start over Regula right now.
And Cass, and that's a good point, Benny. Cass, Ty Emerson, these guys are both 25 years of age, roughly. They're like a couple months apart in age, actually. Emerson's played 132 NHL games. Regula just played his 39th NHL game. That has to factor in, and the speed and the level of play only gets higher and higher as the season wears on, right? What do you think is best going forward here?
Yeah, I think you'll see Emerson seize the opportunity a little bit more, and that's Regula has had times where he's been very good. And we talked about this the other day, and I kind of was torn a little bit, and I didn't know what way, because there's Regula, there's still those moments with him. Like there's those moments where it's like he gets the puck, and I don't think he had any of them tonight, but like where he gets a puck and he takes 2 or 3 steps and he moves, and you're like, ooh, like that looked really just crisp. Like from a you can be explosive, skates really well, and that looks crisp. But then there's moments when he just kind of gets spun around a little bit and caught out of position a little bit. And Emerson, not that he doesn't make mistakes. I think he makes mistakes, as we all do. But he's just a little bit more certain about himself as a player at this point.
Safe? Is that a good word for it?
Yeah. Well, that is a good word for it. Like he's a little more safe in that, which is probably better for the Edmonton Oilers at this point. Yeah. And I think that safe word is a good word, because it's like he's just more, like what I was saying, he's more certain of himself as a player. Like, and that shows with that game experience, a couple extra or like 100 extra games or so, where it's like he's not trying to be, hey, I'm going to be the fastest defenseman out here and break the puck out. It's like, no, this is my game. I'm just going to kind of stick with it. Yeah. So I think he probably has this slight edge right now.
It makes sense. NHL experience, you can't trade that in for anything. And Emerson has way more than Regula at this stage of their careers. All right. Keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. Nasty chat. Do your thing. The Oilers win 4-1 over the Detroit Red Wings as they close out their season series. Of course, Detroit beating Edmonton back in the Motor City in October. So that's a solid victory for the Oil. And really quickly, Edmonton goes into Toronto this weekend, then Montreal. So it's going to be busy. We're live on location at Boston Pizza, 170th Street. 90th Avenue, right across the street from West Edmonton Mall for Saturday's game. The Leaves fall tonight to the San Jose Sharks 3-2 in overtime. No travel for the Leafs. They're at home. And then just looking at the Pacific Division right now, Anaheim lost 5-2 on Long Island. Philly falls to Vegas in overtime 3-2. So Vegas picks up a couple points and sits first in the Pacific Division. And then looking at other games in the Pacific, you've got the Oilers with the win tonight and Vancouver down 3-2 to Buffalo, 10 minutes left in the third. Not that game is super relevant to teams that are bottom dwellers going toe-to-toe. I believe they call that the toilet bowl matchup in some places. All right. Cass, were there any other things that really stood out to you? Do you want to dive into Stu Skinner? I've seen a few people talking about him. BP Tony said, hey, Tommy, BP Tony, thank God Oilers Make-A-Wish kid Bouchard didn't cost us a game again. Tony is not a Bouchard fan. I think he was way better tonight, much more solid. Coach Mike says, I thought Skinner was solid. First period save on the PK, huge. Could have tied the game going into the first intermission from Coach Mike. And then, hey, look at that. Him and Calvin Pickard with a long embrace. Nobody's getting traded tomorrow. Trust me.
Nope. Nope. And listen, the likelihood of them trading both goalies just because Colorado traded both goalies last year, and if Colorado can do it, why can't Edmonton do it, was the most asinine, ridiculous thing we've heard out there. And
it only came up a million times.
And there's just no cap space.
Yeah.
And who are you actually legitimately really going to trade for? That's going to be a market improvement. Don't tell me Jordan Binnington. You can't fit it in the cap.
He got blown up tonight.
Right. So it's like, and his numbers have been horrible this year. Now, is it coincidence, guys, that recently for both Stuart Skinner and both Calvin Pickard, their numbers have been much, much better?
You think they heard the noise?
No, I think the freaking team started playing better in front of them. And
that makes way more sense.
What? Whoa.
Way to use logic.
I don't believe it.
Mind freaking blown. Mind blown. Yeah, just exploding like, no way. No way. The team actually started to play. No, wait. The team actually is scoring goals now?
What?
They are.
Offensively?
They are.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, okay. That couldn't be it. It is amazing at how having a team that is actually putting up a little bit of offense in front of you, you can build some confidence as a player and as a goalie. And I think that's what you're seeing start to happen. Now, I'm not all the way on the bandwagon of the Oilers are back and they're going to just be this and be that yet. Like it was a good homestand, carried off a good finish to the end of a ultimately mediocre road trip, but they had a good finish to it. Long, difficult road trip. Yes. Mediocre ultimately, but you had a good finish. Now you've been pretty good or even really good in some instances since you got back home and had this homestand. And all the way back. And maybe it's a little bit of a chicken and the egg problem of, did they get better because the goaltending got better, or they get better because the team got better? But it's actually not really a chicken and egg problem. The goaltending got better because the team got better, and then the goalies build confidence, and they make some of those saves, and the team continues to get better. Like that's what we're starting to see here. So Skinner was good. Not going to be on Team Canada, but he made some good saves, big saves at key times. I think you meant, well, even the force. I know the DeBrincat missed the one, but for the most part, Skinner was rock solid, guys.
Well said. Very well said. All right, let's get into this Saturday's situation. Cass, are you? I haven't looked at the schedule. Are you with us Saturday or Sunday or both?
I haven't even looked. I have no idea.
Okay, all right. So let's just get your thoughts on this weekend coming up, where the Oilers hit the road. It's the final Eastern Conference road trip for them. It's been crazy with all the road games that they've had. In a way, it could be beneficial with the way they've played at home. They're now 8-3-3 at home, and they're going to have a lot of home cooking the rest of the way. They're going to have a lot of divisional opponents, a lot of those 4-point games coming up. That's why I still think they're definitely in the mix for winning the division. 5 points back of Vegas as of right now. Both teams winning tonight. But you get the Leafs on Saturday, the Habs on Sunday. Both of those 5 o'clock starts. Again, we're at BP 170th on Saturday for the Leafs game. Come join us. It's always a ton of fun. But how do you look at this weekend against these two original 6 teams? And Toronto's been a rough building for Edmonton in recent years, and Montreal, it could go either way, but the Habs have been a thorn in the side a little bit for the Oilers in recent years as well. Yeah.
It's as you said, it's the last Eastern swing, really. And I think the team probably is looking at this being like one more, like get through this one and get through it. But that's actually you're hoping that that's not the mindset, that it's like just get through this road trip, because it's right. It's the last one where we're like really having to go.
Can I ask you something about that? With the Christmas break looming, is that a carrot dangling in front of the team or no?
Great question. It absolutely is.
Okay.
It absolutely is. I mean, you're looking at that going like, hey, we got 5 games, another 2 at home, and then it's Christmas break. And then, yes, it's just a couple days. It's short. It's a short Christmas break.
Yes.
But we're at home at least for it. And so if guys, and knowing that the Olympic break is coming up not too long in the future, but it's a mile marker to the season. So yeah, you're absolutely looking at that. And you're saying, hey, like the toughest part of our schedule, this is going to be a tough little road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like where you literally are playing every second day, right? Because they play Tuesday, and then it's going to be Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Tuesday. Like that's a lot of hockey. And so you're looking at this going like, hey, there's a party that's going to be thinking, hey, let's just get through it. Like there's a part of them that's going to be looking at the Toronto Montreal games going like win one. Like you go 1-1 or 1-0-1 in those 2 games, like you're happy with that on the road. And I would be too, but you don't want to have that mentality. Like you want to have to just go out with the intention of winning all 5 games. So it's going to be a grind still. You know, some of those teams not playing as well. Toronto, hard to pin down, much like Edmonton this year, as to what exactly they are as a team. Montreal has been really good at times, really inconsistent at times. They have their own goaltending issues now. Pittsburgh, resurgent out of nowhere. Boston's been good. Minnesota's been really good. And Vegas is Vegas when you come back home. So it's going to be a little bit of a different focus. I mean, I love playing in both those buildings. Toronto just because I hated them. Montreal because I hated them, and it's a fun building to play in. So they're great buildings to be in on the road. So it's I think it would be easy to have an excuse in these first 2 games to really just play 1 out of 2 of them. But I'm hoping that with that, and as you said, still potential to climb up in the division, I'm hoping that it's still game on focus mode. I don't know. I kind of like, guys, if they played 2 really good games this weekend, part of me would be like, all right, I'm on the bandwagon, like with where this group's at right now.
I was about to say, we've talked about what does it take for you to say that they're back. I think if they win back-to-back this weekend, I'll say it.
Yeah,
I think they are.
That'd be 3 in a row too, first time of the year, and doing it on the road after playing well at home. You know, at that point, what would it be? It would be 3-1. So they'd be 5-1-1 in the last 7 at that point. Yep. So I mean, you might have to say it.
This is their last. This is the last Eastern road trip. Like that's. I mean, you have a lot of division games coming up, and you had a rough start. Like this is your last Eastern road trip you got to go on. After that, you're staying in what is that? Only 2 time zones? 1, 2, maybe 3 times. I'm trying to think. But yeah, to me, this is a good opportunity. It seems like if you can flush away those bad games at the start of the year with this good road trip here, you're staying out west for the rest of the year. I think it's a major advantage.
So I'm looking ahead to Toronto. Obviously, that's the next game on Saturday night. Edmonton against the Leafs. They've lost 4 of the last 5. Now, one of those was in OT. That was at Toronto. And then when I go and I look at Edmonton in Toronto in recent years, it hasn't been good. They've lost 4 in a row and 6 of the last 7. The last win in Toronto was an overtime victory, 3-2, March 29th, 2021. So, we're creeping up to 5 years here since the last win in Toronto. Last season, they lost 4-3 in OT. It's It's one of those buildings that's been very unkind to the Oilers. Maybe they can break that with Toronto being up and down, Cass, like you said. The Leafs at 14-11-5. They're 5-2-3 in their last 10. Actually pretty similar to what the Oilers are at. Edmonton 14-11-6, 5-3-2 in the last 10. So, yeah, this should be a good matchup, and we'll see if there's any magic for the Oil. Cass, you did great work today.
Thank you, guys. So did you.
You always do great work. That's why we are proud to call you friends and our teammate as well. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, there you go. There's Matt Kassian, our game analyst, helping break down the Oilers' 4-1 victory over the Detroit Red Wings. Let us know what you thought of tonight's game. 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat as well. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate it as we continue to grow Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for sports in our fine city. Best station for sports in the city. Let's go to this text. Lonnie and Stoney. Lonnie says solid performances tonight. Hyman is back, baby. Signed, Lonnie and Stoney. Stay warm out in Stoney. She's chilly out there. Stanley in YYC says good, strong team win tonight. Didn't have to wait for the third period and being down 3-0 for the team to show up. Good to see Hyman get back some success in front of the net. His second goal was beautiful. Stanley in YYC. Nice text. Stanley, and then Rip City Step. Just never doubted him. Yes, sir, Rip City Step. Jimmy O chiming in, says McDavid passing it to Hyman proves he doesn't have the killer mentality McKinnon does. Oh, boy, Jimmy O. Oh, boy.
All righty. What are we doing?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That's fishing.
And then Coach Mike. Yeah, Coach Mike reminding us that Montreal is in New York on Saturday night. So it's a back-to-back scenario for the Habs as well. All right. We're going to hear from Reid Wilkins. He's going to stop by for Reid's Read in a little bit. We do need to get to some business. The first order of business being the turning point of the game, brought to you by Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You have a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca, or call 780-460-9977. Tell them EST sent you. Wouldn't you please? Fantastic getting you back up on your feet or whatever's ailing you. We know that things, nagging injuries, stuff like that, Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy has got it all sorted out to get you back on track. They're that good. All right, the turning point of the game tonight, I'm going to take this one. To me, it was that big goal by Hyman late in the second period. I thought the fact that the Oilers were able to add an insurance marker, it was a beautiful play by McDavid, killer instinct or not. I think that was Lonnie, or no, was that Lonnie that sent that in? I'll have to go back.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the name.
I'll take a look. Or was it Lonnie and Stoney? I'll have to look. Anyway, the one text that said the killer instinct thing. McDavid, brilliant play to Hyman. He buries his second of the night at that point, fourth of the year. It makes it 3-1. It's just a nice, emphasis that the Oilers were going to, put the pedal to the metal. And I thought they were pretty good throughout the entire game. So to me, the turning point was that 3-1 goal. Really, maybe helped put people at ease in the building. And then maybe gave the Oilers the confidence to go out there and like we saw for the entirety of the third period, get the puck, go over the red line, chip it in, make the Wings go back 200 feet. When the Wings did get in the offensive zone, the Oilers defended well, kept them mostly to the perimeter. It was just, I think it allowed Edmonton to have that extra little bit of confidence and reassuredness to play a solid third period and close out what a lot of people have called a professional win tonight. So that is your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. Zach Hyman's fourth of the year, second of the night at 17:48 of the second period from McDavid and Nurse to make it 3-1 Edmonton. Let us know your thoughts. Oh, we have some clips.
We do. I figured out a way to get them over onto this PC.
Okay.
So,
for those going, what the hell is happening here? Why isn't Benny at EST Global HQ? There's a scheduled power outage at the HQ in our building, so we weren't going to risk it. We've got Benny producing from his satellite studios in St. Albert, and we do have some clips. It's a different setup than what we have with the technical desk back in the main studio. So who do we have, Benny? You know what? Let's go to the guy with the hat trick.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, this is Zach Hyman from the dressing room tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to miss again. I got the one guy stuck his leg out on the empty net and then turned around, shot it, hit the post. And so if he lunged at me, I was ready to move it over. But he played like a real 2-on-1, so I just put it in.
Good difference between winning this game and losing this game and the way you look at this homestand. Like how important was it to do this right tonight just to keep you all going on the right foot?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got one, you have to take advantage of the schedule, and it's advantageous to you. They're coming off a back-to-back, and we've been rested, so you got to take advantage of those games. And two, we're playing well. You want to make sure that you continue to play well and play well at home and feel good going on the plane tomorrow and going out to Toronto. So it's a very important one.
Zach, for you now, it's 5 goals in 6 games. Coming off a lengthy tough time. Do you feel your hands are kind of getting back to where you want them to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hands are good. Goal scoring's funny. It's very confidence-based. You can ask anyone, doesn't matter who you are. If you see the puck go in, it goes in more often. Just you got a mentality that you're going to score, and when it's not going in, it's almost like when you're ever going to score. So whenever you're scoring, you want to make sure that you're continuing to work and you're continuing to get your chances, and it's fun, obviously.
Where's the Olympic dream on your landscape these days?
I don't even think about it anymore. You can make probably 30 or 4 elite teams with the Canadian lineup, right? So it would be a massive honor. And if you're not selected, just to be in the conversation is an honor. To be at that camp in the summertime was an honor. And coming off an injury, obviously a little bit more of an uphill battle probably, but I feel like I'm playing some of my best now and feel pretty normal. So just going to continue to play. That's it.
When the puck is going in for you, does the net feel bigger? Do you feel like, how does it kind of, you talk about confidence, but what is it about when the puck's going in for you?
Well, I think it's just like a mentality. Like I mean, for me, I'm around the net, so you're at the net to score. You're at the net to try to get open. You're not just getting tied up. There's so many little things that go into getting open and trying to score than just the puck hitting your stick and it going in. Like, you really have to work when you don't have the puck, and not that you don't when you're not scoring, but when you are scoring, you don't have to think. And it's not like I've scored a lot of goals this year. I just got back, but I feel good. I feel like our line is starting to find a groove again, find chemistry, and we play together for a long, long time. So when we find a groove and we're in that, we're all on the same page. I feel like we're one of the top lines in the league, so it's fun when it's going like that.
Did you sense Connor shifted into a different gear at a certain point in that game? Does that affect the group when he does that?
Yeah, I mean, I think just of late, like, he's attacking. Like, it's when he just takes over games, right? He creates for himself, he creates for others. He's the best player, unanimously, I think the best player in the world for a reason, just because when he's on and when he's driving like he is, it's very, very hard to stop. So he's been playing phenomenal the last couple of weeks.
Can you talk about the backhand pass through you behind the net when he knocks it down? Nice backhand pass right to you.
Those are nice. Make sure you put those in.
No, and that he did. There you go. Zach Hyman, the hat trick tonight. That gives him 9 points in 12 games, 5 goals, 4 assists. His plus minus, he was -2 heading into tonight, but ends up being +3. So he's +1 on the season. I think for most Oiler fans, they would probably just be relieved that he's scoring again. Multi-goal game. He's skating well, working hard, being a nuisance in the offensive zone, on the wall for defensemen. I know that's his MO, and he's kind of getting back to that. So that's good to see. And you could kind of sense the relief from Hyman there. And he joked about that first empty net attempt where he had the block shot and then he put it off the side of the net. And then he finally buried it on the 2-on-1. McDavid picking up the assist, setting him up on both of those plays, by the way. All right, I'm going to dip into the inbox. Brother Morg says, hey, sending my love to the post-game show. How can you guys get nasty? It needs a gimmick. Justice for the Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows. One love. Go Oil. Best non-6 to 6 show, perhaps. Yes, Brother Morgs, we appreciate that very much. We'd be up against some pretty good ones. I would say Hello Hockey, the VIP golf show would be in there, and then certainly the Green and Gold kickoff and post-game show, all worthy competition in the non 6 to 6 category.
I like that award. We should bring that up. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I mean, that's kind of that's a participation ribbon, if you will. Right. But
we'll take
we appreciate it, Brother Marks. That's a very, very nice sentiment. Reid Wilkins will be stopping by shortly for Reid's Read. I have a bit of info. You know that jersey thing we talked about on the pregame show? People were replying to me, it's going to be a black jersey. Because the one guy that kind of broke the news that the league was unveiling new jerseys for every team next year. I've known about this for a few weeks. I was given some details on Edmonton's jersey. I'm going to keep my mouth shut for a while, but I can pass along yes, they're going to have a new one. It's going to be a good counter to the current alternate, which is not going anywhere. They're going to have 4 uniforms next year. And everybody that's like, it's going to be black. We know it's going to be black. I didn't know, and I didn't get that information. When people are saying it, I need to get it from a good source, a reliable source. So I had someone from the team today confirm it will be black.
Ooh,
so there you go.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing when it's just being like thrown around on social media, and you want to trust it, but then you need to kind of touch base with a few sources that actually would know. And yes, they confirmed it will be black. So there you go. Some information in regard to the new jersey. All right. I see he's ready to go. He's all warmed up. It is Reid Wilkins as we get you to Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell, your power play specialist. Ewell has the gear you need for your next electrical project with the 3 Edmonton area locations. And you can order online anytime at ewell.ca. Ewell, your Edmonton-based partner in power and source for all things electrical. This man is powerful. This man is electric. And this man is Reid Wilkins. 4-1, the Oilers win. Professional win is the term that's being thrown out there from some tonight. Reid, how would you sum up and describe Edmonton's victory?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. I mean, a pretty good all-around game. Their best player drove the offense. I mean, I thought McDavid was sensational tonight, taking the puck to the net, distributing the puck. I mean, he was excellent. Hyman in front of the goal, being a nuisance, banging in a couple of goals, getting the empty netter for the hat trick. So that line was very good. The other lines I thought were decent. I mean, they didn't really give up anything. I guess the one goal with the kind of the funny Nurse and Regula collided at the blue line, and then I think, I still like to watch it one more time. Like, it didn't look great for Frederick, but I also think he might have been trying to pick up a guy he didn't know he had to pick up because of the collision at the blue line. That might have messed things up. But yeah, it was. They got a power play goal. The penalty killing was good. Stuart Skinner was very solid. I wouldn't say he had to make any sensational saves, but some tricky saves, some important saves, some good saves when the Red Wings had a power play. So there's not a lot to pick apart from the negative side for this one from the Oilers. I mean, maybe you could say their first period wasn't great. I thought they got outskated a little bit in the first period, but then they got the power play goal and they sort of built from there. So pretty solid. Important to go 3-1-1 on the homestand. That was the record that we were throwing out that would signal like, okay, that's a good homestand. 70% of your points. Get some in the bank. Maybe get some separation from some other teams in the Western Conference, even if it's just a point or two. So yeah, this was a very good ending to the homestand for the Oilers.
Are you confident in them going into this weekend after that performance where you can't really poke a ton of holes into how they played? And, that was something Benny talked about too. A performance like tonight, he was talking about it on the pregame show. Would it reassure you that Buffalo game was just a one-off and a blip on the radar. For me, I still question this group, but I think that this is another step in the right direction. How do you look at that?
Yeah, well, I said I wouldn't proclaim them as being back until the end of the homestand. And now I feel like, well, why would I do that now? There's still 50 games left, right? But for 51, whatever it is. I think that they showed there was more positive than negative on the homestand. The power play was good. For the most part, I guess the PK was pretty good. For the most part, the goaltending was good. There were a couple exceptional first periods. And McDavid said it in his post game. Maybe the Buffalo game is the only one that he wasn't happy with. I mean, Minnesota, they outplayed for 2/3 of the game.
Yep.
Buffalo, even Buffalo, you could argue they outplayed Buffalo in a way for 2/3 of the game, the first and the third. They just forgot shooting the puck is how you score goals in the first period. I mean, they almost got in their own way with some of the overcycling. So, but I think there's a certain responsibility that's returned to their game that was there for most of the homestand. I mean, you didn't see a lot of odd man rushes against. You didn't see guys being left open in front of the net. You didn't see multiple whacks at rebounds. You didn't see confusion in defensive coverage, like who's supposed to be where. You generally saw players collapsing into the slot, taking away the important area of the ice if they were under pressure. I mean, even that Minnesota game in the first period when they were outplayed, they only gave up a goal. It didn't spiral out of control where they were down 4-0 or whatever, like the games against Colorado and Dallas. And even some of the games on the road trip were I'm thinking of the first 5-game road trip. And I guess even the 7-gamer where, there was a 6-minute span where the other team got 2 or 3 goals and really took control of the game. So that's there was much more steadiness to their game. I think that, it'd be fair to still, if you're talking about, are they back? Are they a Stanley Cup contender? Are they as good as the last 2 years or even the last 3 years? I think you can still look at some of the bottom 6. We've talked about these two guys a lot. I don't mean to pick on them, but if I'm going down this path for this story, what does Frederick do? Does Mangiapane do enough? Does Henrique have the wheels? All that kind of stuff. You can wonder about those parts of the lineup that are going to be more needed as they play better teams. And then if I look to at least the start of the road trip, well, who are Montreal and Toronto? There are a lot of the same storylines, overarching storylines around them as are around the Oilers. How's their goaltending? Where's their consistency? When it goes bad, why does it go bad? What's this latest in Toronto? Wasn't it Nylander getting put in the bottom 6? Something like that. Now Montreal's trying to find some steady goaltending again. So, if you ask me about the prospects for the road trip, at least for the start, those are fun buildings to go into. Certainly, I think for Oilers fans, a loss to Toronto seems to sting a lot more than maybe a loss to anybody else except Calgary or Vancouver. But they play those teams more often, so you are going to lose to them. Last year's game in Toronto, I mean, they gave it away in the third period, right? And I think Bouchard had 2 massive mistakes in that third period. So, if they go in there and play the way they've been playing, you'd think they'd win at least one of the 2 and should have a chance in both games because, again, they're playing a couple of other teams that I think are in terms a little bit in the same boat of the Oilers, where you look at them and say, well, who exactly are they? Who exactly are the Maple Leafs? Which team's going to show up? Which Montreal team is going to show up?
Montreal plays the night before in New York, and then Toronto did play today against San Jose. Reid Wilkins joining us now for Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell. Tom Gazzola, Ben Thomson with you as well here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show on Edmonton Sports Talk. The Oilers 4-1 winners over the Red Wings. I'm going to go to this one from the inbox. It's from Byron. Byron says, hey guys, better start to finish in this one. The Oilers looked for the most part in control of the game. Skinner was steady. It'll be a tough game Saturday night in Toronto. Do you think at one point the Oilers bring up a guy from Bakersfield to help with the bottom six? Maybe Quinn Hudson. That's from Byron in Winnipeg. And if you didn't catch it earlier in the day, Connor Clattenburg has been placed on IR. Jack Roslovic is on LTIR. Wallman's on IR as well.
I think Wallman's on LT and Roslovic's on IR.
Yes, sorry, I got those two flipped. And then Max Jones has been recalled from Bakersfield. So they did call someone up. We know that Quinn Hudson's been on fire. Did it surprise you, Reid? Why do you think it was Max Jones? And Byron's asking about fixing up the bottom six. And I want to hear what Benny has to say too, but go ahead, Reid first.
Well, I believe at the end of his availability, Knobloch said that a defenseman will be joining them on the road trip. So maybe there's a call up there. Would that be Deneen, I guess, by default at this point?
Yeah.
That's where I would go.
That would make sense.
Because they have their right shot guys.
Yeah. I mean, I just would kind of have to take an educated guess here. Why they don't call up Quinn Hudson is because they probably don't feel they need a top six player. I mean, I don't think you would call up Quinn Hudson and put him with Lazar and Frederick or whatever the combinations are.
Yeah.
So I get it. You see a guy producing at that level in the AHL and he quote unquote deserves a shot, but deserves doesn't always play out the way that you might think that it should. So I think I would guess just with Jones, they're thinking, okay, if we are going to make a change in the lineup as the road trip goes along, we're going to take out Lazar, Janmark, Frederick, somebody like that, and put in a guy with a bit of a similar dimension or more of a bottom six checking dimension, as opposed to, okay, we're going to put in Quinn Hudson and expect him to check, but that's not really his MO. I would guess that's why that decision was made.
Would you consider Josh Brown
as a defensive call-up?
Yeah.
Probably not. Is that okay?
He played game one of the playoffs last year, Reid.
No, I know he did.
Have.
He's got 5 assists. Just trying to look at their other
he's
defensemen.
He's a plus player too.
What was the guy?
Leppanen.
Was that him that was good in the preseason?
Yeah, I wonder if that's the guy that gets the call. I wonder how he's been.
I don't know. I didn't ask, so I'd be guessing too.
I think it would be Deneen, Leppanen with Brown maybe being a longer shot. Now, if you're going to call up a guy that you don't expect to use a lot, maybe it would be Brown.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Just as a security blanket. Right.
Yeah. Benny, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends what you need. Josh Brown to me is like obviously, yeah. I don't know. I feel like we saw what we saw with him last year, and I'd probably call up Chris Deneen. But to me, with the whole Quinn Hudson thing, I think it's a similar situation to Ike Howard. It's a skilled guy that is playing well in the AHL right now. But we saw it with Ike Howard. He potted in the odd goal here and there, but for the most part, man, like he's playing 8 minutes a night. And when you're a skilled guy that needs the puck on his stick, that's just not going to cut it, right? Like 8 minutes isn't enough, and they don't have, the time to give to those type of guys, right? And so I understand that depth scoring has been a topic around Edmonton, and maybe Quinn Hudson can help out with that a little bit. But I'm willing to bank on Max Jones being a guy that could come in and just go hit guys, right? Like just go make an impact, not on the score sheet, but just be an energy guy. I remember when he got first traded here. I think it was the first game. I think he scored in his first game here, running guys over. I remember that. I was like, whoa, maybe they have a player here. Didn't really pan out that way, but I think he's a guy that's motivated and wanted to play in the NHL. So I thought they made the right call and bring up Max Jones. He could be a guy that comes in and hits guys, kind of like a Curtis Lazar type role. Like it kind of goes in, does his job, energy guy. Quinn Hudson, I can't say that he won't get a call-up this year because I think maybe there is a chance that there's some high-end guys on this team that get hurt and they're like, okay, well, we have the minutes now. Let's go give it to Quinn Hudson, who's lighting up in the AHL. But I just think it's pretty similar with Ike Howard, not in the sense of where their potential is, but with how the situation is right now is they're two skilled guys that benefit playing 20 minutes a night. They won't get that in the NHL. So I think it's fair for him to stay in the AHL.
This is hypothetical, but could you imagine next Thursday in Boston, they have Max Jones in and they take Trent Frederick out?
Unlikely, but yes, a very devious what if.
I know.
You're a devious man, Tom Gazzola.
You would get drafted as a villain tomorrow.
No. Well, yeah. How's that draft prep coming along, by the way?
I'm ready. I'm done.
I'm almost done.
Done?
I'm like 90% done.
You're going to get my vote.
Oh,
Well, actually, I can't tell you who's going to get my vote with both of you being involved. So I'm looking forward to that, though, tomorrow on the Hangout. All right, Reid. 5-game road trip coming up. Last Eastern road trip. Starts in Toronto, goes to Montreal. What are you anticipating after these, decent performances and a pretty good overall homestand, going 3-1-1 from the Oil?
Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be great if they got a 6-point road trip, like even above 500. That would be really good. I mean, Montreal and Pittsburgh both have 35 points. Pittsburgh's a little better because they have a game in hand. The Leafs have a very similar record to the Oilers, as I've been talking about. Similar problems. Boston is doing, in my mind, surprisingly well. They've won 4 in a row, and then obviously it's Minnesota at the end, and we know how good they are, and obviously they have the best goaltender. I'm surprised Wallstead is not already in the Hall of Fame. Like, I thought that he'd be inducted into the Hall of Fame
naturally
after a month. Like, they'd waive all the requirements, and that would put him in. I mean, if they could get 6 points, I think that would be really good. I guess I'm going to look ahead to the Pittsburgh game a little bit too, because that's been an automatic blowout win for the Oilers home and away in recent years against the Penguins. I mean, it's been men against boys in a lot of those matchups, I think, really since coming out of COVID. So that's going to be a tougher game for the Oilers. But I think a split is very realistic this weekend. And then, I mean, I think they've actually done fairly well in Boston over the years. I think
much better.
I think the year Boston won 62 games. I think the Oilers won in Boston. Wasn't that the Nurse late game winning goal?
Shot. Yeah. From the
yeah. So if they keep playing this way and don't beat themselves, which they're doing a lot less of, then I really think that they can bank some more points here. Again, five would be good. 6 or more, I think, would be very good, and they'd keep building up a little bit of cushion in the playoff race.
They've won 4 of their last 5 visits to Pittsburgh and 7 of the last 8 against the Penguins.
And what are some of the scores? Do you have them?
Yep. The ones in Pittsburgh, they lost their last visit last season 5-3, but 4-0 win, 7-2 win, 5-1 win, 2-1 OT win. That's in Pitt. And then just overall, both locations, Edmonton, 4-0, 4-0, 6-1, 7-2, 6-3, 5-1, 5-2. And then Pittsburgh won back on December 20th, 2019, 5-2 at Edmonton.
Well, when was the game last year in Pittsburgh? I don't remember that one.
It was January 9th.
January 9th, so before Four Nations. Okay, I'm drawing a blank on that one. But okay, so they lost to them last year, but
I feel like it was an afternoon game, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but no, we'll see. Hey, Reid, this was excellent. Warm up, buddy. Great job as always, and good luck tomorrow at the draft.
Okay, thanks, guys. See you.
Okay, there you go. Reid Wilkins, host of the Reid Wilkins Show on Edmonton Sports Talk, 3 to 6, Monday to Friday, right here on our fine station. That was Reid's Read, brought to you by the fine folks over at Ewell. Before we get into the Damon Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game, just a quick recap of what's going on with Bakersfield player-wise. Quinn Hudson leading the team in scoring, 24 points in 22 games, 13 goals, 11 assists, +7. Seth Griffith, obviously a veteran. We've seen him up with the big club here and there sporadically. He's second with 19 points in 22 games. Mariala 19 points in 22 games. Szymanski, 17 points in 22 games. Leppinen, leading all defensemen in scoring, 16 points in 22 games. They've got the Pitlicks. Is this Rem? It's one of the Pitlicks. He's got 15 points. Roby Yarventi, 14 points in 18 games. That's encouraging. That's who they traded Xavier Bargot for. Ike Howard, 10 points in 9 games, 5 goals, 5 assists, +9. Excellent numbers. Good to see from Ike Howard. That's what you want. James Hamblin, 8 points. Max Jones, who was just called up, 7 points in 17 games, -2, 49 penalty minutes. So he's been mixing it up. And then your Connor Ingram update, because there's always people curious. 10 games played now, 3 wins, 5 losses, 2 overtime losses. He has a .376 goals against average and an .868 save percentage.
Not great. But, I mean,
work in
progress. And I think the talks are getting a little bit more quieter with the play of Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. Well, that partnered with the defense. Getting all better.
Yes.
I think there's a less of a cry for Connor Ingram right now.
That's a great way to describe it, Benny. As we get to Damon Bunting, real estate player of the game. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Ben Thomson, take it away.
With my rule of not going to anyone in the 3 stars, to me, those are the top 3 candidates, Hyman, McDavid, Skinner. I'm going to go to the only other goal scorer for the Oilers tonight, who had a big hit in that first period. I thought he had a pretty solid game, and a guy who people are talking about as regressing and all this stuff. It's like, oh, why did they give this guy an extension? Like we've talked about, I think by the time that contract's done, $4 million for a third-pair defenseman, at worst for him, is pretty fair money. So and once again, that's the bottom. That's the worst case scenario for Matthias Ekholm. But if he still keeps up a good form and is still a top 4 defenseman, I mean, you're gonna get a pretty good value there. So Matthias Ekholm, I thought he had a pretty big night tonight. 20 minutes on ice tonight, big goal that put them up. What was that? 2-0 early in the second period.
Yes.
With a nice shot there, and laying some big hits. I thought his plays come around, like Bouchard outside of the Buffalo game. He's been pretty good as of late. So he's my Damon Bunting player of the game tonight.
Very, very nice, Benny. Very, very nice. Bouchard, by the way, better tonight. Got to give him a little bit of credit there. I thought Cam Talbot was excellent. Classy guy, former Oiler. Loved his time here. He was one of the few guys that actually lived in the city 12 months of the year. And then that slapper that went in from Matthias Ekholm, who is our Damon Bunting real estate player of the game, that was clocked at like 97.6 miles per hour. It hit Albert Johansson, and then it went in past Talbot. But good pick, Benny. I like the concept of not giving it to one of the 3 stars of the game. I appreciate that very much. Nicely done. Making it your own, Ben. And I think you did a great job producing the show from home.
Yeah,
because of
but here we are.
The scheduled power outage back at EST Global HQ. Everything should be up and running and good to go when the boys hit the air at 6 a.m. for the Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric and YouTube Trev. Any final thoughts from you, Benny, or are we good to go?
No, I mean, just let's see what this team's all about this weekend. You got the Toronto and Montreal games Saturday, Sunday. Once again, like I said, if they win both, I'm willing to say they're back. Let's see if it actually happens. A split's probably what's likely here. But, let's see if they carry this good play into the weekend. And, I guess we'll see tomorrow or Saturday.
All right. Yeah, we'll be on the air at 4 p.m. for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show live on location at Boston Pizza, 170th Street, where Tony and Curtis take good care of everybody when they're there. They have great game day specials, $5 off medium pizzas, $1 off tankards of Molson and Coors Light, and then lots of prizing. Tony and Curtis hook it up. Tony likes to give away prizes. He wants to make sure everyone walks away a winner, and then maybe even the Oilers will be a winner in Toronto, which has been tough for a while for the orange and blue. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. I am off tomorrow, so I won't see anybody till Hello Hockey on Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on EST. Big draft tomorrow on the Hangout, Christmas draft, and then a full slate of great programming as always. You're going to see the Lock Shop, and then it'll be the Oil Stream, and then, of course, EST Afternoons, and then the Reid Wilkins Show. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. For Benny, Reid, Cass, I'm Tommy saying stay warm. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Ciao for now.